All right. Hello, everybody. Um, just wanted to make another quick tier list type video. This is a video summarizing kind of low ELO jungle champions and the data from op.gg. I'm trying to balance, existing tier list videos on YouTube that kind of focus on champions that are theoretically OP based on you know, kind of them getting buffed or items in the game or something like that. But um, this is to kind of show how they're actually performing in these lower elos. So regardless of how great they should be, this will give you a snapshot of just this period in time with this patch, how they've been performing. So essentially, I looked at jungle win rates in the NA servers at bronze, silver, and gold. I sorted the champs into varying tiers based on their win rates, and my hope is that you can draw some conclusions from it visually, and maybe it'll help you pick up a new champion that you hadn't considered previously, or potentially even stop playing a champion that you haven't been performing well on, and the data shows the same thing maybe. So here we go. Looking at bronze, here's kind of the tier list based on win rates. Let's see. So S tier refers to champions that have an over 52% win rate. Mundo is actually close to like 50, almost 54 and a half, so quite a bit higher. Followed by Mordekaiser, Briar, Amumu, Warwick, Nocturne, Teemo, and Shyvana. Um, Trundle has a high win rate, Volibear, and then you go to B tier where it's still pretty high, 51.5 to 51% win rates with Wukong, Jarvan, Tryndamere, and Kayn. Next, you come into that close to 50% win rate with Lilia, Master Yi, Pantheon, Viego, Udyr, Diana, Vi, Rammus, Fiddlesticks, Karthus, and Xin So, um, I think we'll just move on to silver and look at how similar it is. If you look at it, the top is kind of the same champions. I guess the only addition is Yorick. I think in bronze there wasn't enough of a. I think you need to have at least a certain amount of pick rate to be covered in OPGG, at least in this ranking. So it wasn't there, but again, a high win rate. Um, War again, Warwick, Trundle, Shyvana. It's the same cast of characters essentially. Um, Trying to see if there was any real changes, and I don't think there's anything significant to note. Um, so we can just kind of move on to gold, where things are again similar cast of characters. Um, there's Zed has moved up, Master Yi has moved up, Amumu has actually moved down, which is I guess interesting. Likely just because gold players know better how to handle Amumu. In lower elos, he's really effective at just freezing the team and your whole team kind of following up on your stun and getting some damage down. Um, let's see. Overall, I think there's a lot of it's a healthy champion pool to pick from. Another champion I think to note is that Hecarim is now in the above 50% range. In the bronze and silver elos, he was a little lower than that, and that likely just has to do with either champion mastery or familiarity, or just people being better at the game in general, knowing how to use Hecarim. Um, he is obviously an effective jungler in the right hands, but it seems like the data would suggest that it takes quite a bit of practice. So something to overall, I think, consider are that there are some champions that are just in these low elos very difficult to play, and those are champions like Nidalee, Rengar, Lee Sin falls into that, probably Elise. These are champions that just require a lot of reps to become effective in. And for that reason, I would likely say if you don't want to put in just a serious amount of time on these champions, consider some of these other top, not top tier, but in this regard, from a win rate perspective, top tier champions, because their kits are a lot easier. They have quick jungle clears. They don't have two forms like Elise and Nidalee. Um, fairly simple gank strategies as well. Like Mundo, you just kind of run at people. Mordekaiser, you can just ult somebody. Warwick has a great ult, and other tools to keep people in combat. Nocturne, obviously, Briar, Shyvana, Fiddlesticks, all of these champions. So just something to keep in mind. So moving on, kind of overall, I think conclusions is that these are kind of 6 champions that they're really simple champions to use, likely very effective, as the data suggests, in low elo and potentially even higher. So there wasn't really a drop off once you get to gold either with these. So they're just good champions, I think. I know Warwick and Briar, especially in very low elos, have a lot of success because people don't itemize against their lifesteal, and that can just make you unkillable, essentially. But probably once you get to gold, people will itemize against it, and you might have a little bit more of a challenge, so you just need to be able to execute more effectively. So this next slide just kind of goes through champions to likely avoid in this low elo unless you are willing to put in quite a bit of time. And so, top offenders would be Nidalee and Rengar. So those are 2 champs that have it's almost like a 45% win rate in these low elos. So really, you'll have a challenging time likely picking up this champion and just being able to win games with them. So if you are willing to put in the time, expect that you might lose quite a few games, but you might eventually, master it and become, it could become your main champion, but just know that it will be a longer road than some of these more simple champions. Again, other champions here are Lee Sin, Elise, Bel'Veth, and Hecarim, who do require, I'd say, a much higher skill mastery before you're able to effectively use them. They just have so many tools that require certain skills in a myriad of different situations that I think if you're inexperienced, you won't be able to recognize those times and use the skills appropriately. So, like I said, there's simpler champions to use, and you'll climb. And if that's your goal, hopefully this data will help make some of those decisions. So thanks again. I know the season's ending, or sorry, the new patch will be coming out. So my goal will be to cover some of these other lanes. I haven't ever really looked at the mid lane, ADC, or support. So I'll definitely be making videos for that once a new patch comes out and there is a pool of data that I think is kind of indicative of where those champions stand in these low elos. So thank you.